All right. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Sunday. We started off with that's the local on the 8th storm alert music that you hear on the Weather Channel. If you're watching it and they have like the red alert stuff on. But the reason why we have it playing is because tomorrow we have a big severe weather day tomorrow as well. We're going to talk about that as we get into the severe weather segment. But right now, we have to talk about the weather tonight first, and then we'll talk about severe weather for tomorrow, and then we'll go into the future as well. So, I am your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go on and get started. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go and do so. Also, that you make sure that you go on and hit the share button as well. Share it with all the people that you know, because tomorrow could be a pretty interesting day. Pretty interesting in terms of severe weather. We'll talk about timing. We'll talk about what's going on in terms of, obviously, just in terms of rainfall as well. See how much rainfall we can get. But that's pretty much it. So now let's go on and start and talk with the recorded audience for the people who could not be here tonight. Also vote inside the poll, inside the chat as well. Good Sunday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully everyone has had a fantastic Sunday. I am your meteorologist, Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for your Sunday evening going into your future. Looking at the radar right now for the entire state of South Carolina, we do have some rain going on up here inside of Manning, Moncks Corner, Sumter, Florence, and Hartsville as well. We also do have some rain going on in Greenville, Gaffney, Spartanburg, as well as some scattered shower activity going on near McCormick and Greenwood as well. Have a lot of stuff on. Let's go on and cut some of this stuff off so you can see it. We do have a bunch of stuff going on. We do have some rain going on up here inside of the Northeast. This might actually be, yes, snow. This is snow going on in Maine. We also do have some rain going on in New York, some ice going on in northern New York. We also have an ice storm going on inside of northern Michigan, as well as the UP of Michigan, as well, getting an ice storm. We also do have some snow in the western UP of Michigan, Wisconsin as well. Severe weather that just pushed through Detroit, as well as some severe weather that's going through western Kentucky, Ohio, as well as Illinois. Got some severe weather in Indiana and Arkansas, as well as Texas. Getting some severe weather. Some rain going on also down there in Florida with a tornado that did happen down there inside of Florida. We also do have some rain going on out west, as always, but that's just rain and snow, nothing severe or anything like that. Now let's go on and talk about our cloud cover. Heavy cloud cover going throughout pretty much the entire state of South Carolina right now. You're probably not going to see anything, any stars in the sky or anything like that if you was to look up. Probably just cloud cover. And if you look at this cloud cover for the future, you can see that the cloud cover will persist. There will be a couple of spots here and there to where it might be a bit open. But overall, it's going to be mostly cloudy for the next 18 hours or so. Current temperatures right now, 66 in Columbia, as well as 66 in St. Matthew, 66 inside of Orangeburg, as well as 66 in Holly Hill, 68 in Moncks Corner, as well as 66 inside of Somerville, Allendale, Georgetown, and Conway. We even have 68 up there inside of Bennettsville and Newbury, 66 down there in Walterboro, 64 in Key Island, 66 in Charleston, as well as 66 in Aiken. Just a lot of 66s out here. 70 in Greenwood, 64 inside of Greenville, as well as 66 in Spartanburg, and 71 inside of Rock Hill. Here is your low temperatures for tonight. Low temperature is 62 in Greenville, as well as 61 in Spartanburg, 61 in Rock Hill, as well as 63 in Sherrod, Dillon, Florence, as well as Myrtle Beach, 61 in Georgetown, 62 in Moncks Corner, as well as 63 in Charleston, 62 in Walterboro, as well as 64 in Hilton Head Island. We even have 63 in Aiken and Barnwell, and 61 up there near Greenwood. In terms of forecast precipitation for the next 24 or so hours, you see the total amount of rainfall we will receive for the next, obviously, 24 hours. It could be around a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch. Everyone at least will see a tenth of an inch of rainfall, at least somewhere close to there as we go through the next 24 hours, except for maybe a couple of regions, but overall, around a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch possible inside of Charleston, Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, as well as Kingstree and Cheraw, as well as Florence and Dillon. We have a quarter of an inch to half an inch inside of Spartanburg, Rock Hill, Winnsboro, Columbia, and Aiken, as well as Barnwell and Walterboro and Moncks Corner. All have a quarter of an inch to half an inch possible. Then we have a half an inch to an inch. Hilton Head Island, Lawrence, Greenwood, Anderson, and Greenville as well. And if you're in that little region right there from 1 inch to 1.5 inches just to the north and west of Hilton Head Island, that is there. So an isolated inch to maybe even an inch and a half is possible down there inside of the very southern low country, in the low country of South Carolina. But now let's go on and talk about severe weather. So obviously tonight, thunderstorms are possible for the entire state. The entire state. Now this is the big day, because if you remember yesterday, we had a slight risk of severe weather that has now been upgraded, and the entire state of South Carolina has an enhanced risk of severe weather. Now you might be wondering, what's going on? Why did it get upgraded? Obviously confidence has went up a lot. And so that's why it's there. Now the model runs have not looked too impressive, but it's still something that we're going to have to look for. Let's talk about the tornado threat first, though. Tornado threat first. This is probably one of the biggest threats, because everyone in the state of South Carolina has a 10% risk of receiving a tornado tomorrow. And I will say, this is the biggest, I heard this earlier today, this is the biggest 10% risk in history without a hatch region on it. So making history tomorrow with the biggest 10% risk in history that goes all the way from Alabama, instead of Florida, Georgia, throughout the entire state of South Carolina, most of North Carolina, and Virginia as well, the largest 10% non-hatch region in history. So that's it for tornadoes. In terms of damaging winds is also another big threat. Right now it is at a 30%. Everyone's inside the red. Now you can see down there it says threat risk, and it has moderate. That's for the actual enhanced risk that we have, so it's in the orange. The red does equal the enhanced risk level at a 30% risk. Moderate is 45, and then high is 60, but it's only at a 30, and so 30% risk for everyone in the state to see some damaging winds tomorrow. 60 miles per hour, maybe a bit higher, but again, that hatch risk is not there, so they're not really looking at anything probably higher than 75 miles per hour plus. Really just expected to stay to that 60 to 70 mile per hour range. And then now let's talk about hail. Hail is probably the least of our worries. Definitely the least of our worries. But here it is right here. You see that we do have a slight risk of severe hail in terms of for Florence, Columbia, Aiken, Charleston, Hilton Head Island, and Myrtle Beach as well. That's inside of the 15% risk. So that does equal the slight risk with the 15% risk of seeing hail. So definitely make sure that you're paying attention tomorrow. Again, damaging winds, tornadoes, the biggest threat, but hail cannot be ruled out. It's at a 15% risk. It cannot be ruled out at all. So make sure that you are paying attention for the hail as well. And then in terms of Tuesday, thunderstorms are possible in Aiken, Charleston, the entire low country pretty much, and Hilton Head Island. So that's what's going on there. So now let's talk about our short-term future first. Talk about the short-term future. We'll talk about the severe weather and the timing and all that kind of stuff. But starting off here at the 18Z, starting off at 9 o'clock p.m., you can see pretty much the rainfall activity that's going on. That will push away, and it will be pretty much out of here by around 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning. But then we start to have some shower activity up there inside of the upstate of South Carolina. And overall, it's just scattered 5 to 8 o'clock in the morning, just scattered pretty much. Then you start to actually see some heavy rainfall and actual severe thunderstorms start to move in through the upstate around 2 to 3 p.m. And in terms of regions and timing, it's probably going to be going through, places like Landrum, Inman, as well as Greenville, Spartanburg. No, well, not Spartanburg quite yet, but around Greenville, Malden, Simpsonville, as well as down here near Anderson, Calhoun, Falls as well by around 3 p.m. Then as you go to 4 p.m., probably going to be past Spartanburg through Gaffney, York, Lockhart, as well as through Newberry, and down towards Augusta and Aiken, as well as you get to around 5 o'clock p.m. through Lancaster, as well as Ridgeway, Columbia, Lexington, and Barnwell, as well as through Allendale, as well, continuing on to around 6 o'clock p.m. Goes through places like Lancaster, up here towards Sumter, as well as Santee and Orangeburg, going through northern Dorchester County through Grover and Walterboro, and maybe even Ridgeland, going all the way to 7 o'clock p.m. It's going through places like Bennettsville, Sellers, down through Pamplico, Kingstree, down through Latson, down through Ravenel, Hollywood, and down into Beaufort and Hilton Head Island by around 7. Then once you get to around 8 p.m., going through probably downtown Charleston, down through Conway, down through Loris, down through Carolina Forest, which also, hopefully, it'll help with the wildfire conditions as well, through Carolina Forest as well, which it should, with this rainfall. And then by around 9 o'clock p.m. when I go live, it's going to be most likely off the coastal regions, and it will be out to sea by around 9 to 10 p.m. And then we'll just have some isolated shower activity going on in the upstate after, but it's not going to last but like a couple hours. And after that, we're looking nice and dry going into Tuesday afternoon. And so that's pretty much it in terms of timing. Let's go and look at some ingredient stuff and see what you see. You can look at the significant tornado parameter. Just pretty much says on how likely a tornado is inside of an area. And as you go on and go all the way through, you can see that it's around, probably around like a 0.3, 0.4 in some locations. You do have some isolated spots where it gets up to 2, which is a bit interesting. Going up to 3 in some places as well. But as it pushes off, you can see it right there. So definitely, tornadoes are definitely possible, as well, meaning that energy is there for it. And that's pretty much it in terms of the short term. Let's talk about the long term, then we'll talk about the crazy score for tonight. As you go on, the time will be inside the top right corner of your screen. Make sure that you go on and keep an eye on that as we go on and push this forward through the next 300 to 400 hours. As you go on and push this forward, there goes our severe weather right there. It's going to push off. Maybe some more isolated shower activity on April the 2nd. And then just overall, just dryness continues. April the 7th comes along, brings some more shower, thunderstorm activity, maybe some more severe weather, potentially on April the 7th as well. We'll watch for that. And then there goes some more rainfall going on from around April the 10th through the 11th as well. And then after that, it's just too far out to talk about, and that's when we're getting into like mid-April. So that's what's going on for the long-term future. So now let's go on and look at the crazy score and just seeing what it's going on for tonight. And you can see that there is indeed the score, there is the score of a 48. 48 for tonight. That is in the moderate range, has notable weather conditions such as moderate rain, wind, or minor storms, and that's pretty much exactly what's going on right now. There are thunderstorms probably going on somewhere throughout the state. And right now, fog is also possible as well. So scattered showers, fog, and possible isolated thunderstorms could lead to reduced visibility, slick roads. And I will not be going live, obviously, tonight. Maybe tomorrow. We'll talk more about that tomorrow morning, though. But I will not be going live tonight for, just a couple of thunderstorms, some fog, and stuff like that. But it is definitely in the moderate category, so make sure that you do pay attention if you're driving tonight or early tomorrow morning, because with dense fog and rainfall make the road slick, and you can especially slide as well. And now let's go on and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. So starting off, Miss Oliver says, "Good evening. Rain has started over here. I wonder how bad the weather will be tomorrow. Hopefully my in-depth analysis was good, and hopefully you know by now what's possible and what's expected tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, by the way, you can ask me inside the chat as well. You just need to have an account. My family in Chattanooga said their schools are on a 2-hour delay because of the weather alert day. That's very, very informal and very, very good to know, because if I go on and look at their risk They are inside of the slight risk of severe weather for tonight. And then for tomorrow, I believe, they're kind of right in the same boat with us, with the slight risk of severe weather. So pretty much the same risk that we have, or close to the same risk, is pretty much going to be close. I think it might be a bit more intense down here, though. So now continuing on. My Nana says, hello, Jay. Hello to you. My cousin Thad says, good evening, Joseph. I hope all is well. It's been a bit wet over here. Not complaining. We need the rain 100% with some fog also possible in San Antonio tonight as well. We'll talk about San Antonio and Raleigh in just a second. Trail says, hi, just we got rain today. Not a lot. Yeah, you'll definitely get more rain tomorrow for sure. So if you did not get a lot of rain tonight, tomorrow's definitely going to be the day. So far, in terms of how much rain I have gotten, my older weather station says around 0.11. Either my newer one that I have says that it is around 0.09. So they're around 2/100ths of an inch apart, which is not much. So around 1/10 of an inch where I am. And now let's go on and talk about San Antonio and Raleigh. And then we'll talk about, what's going on throughout the entire United States. And then talk about the poll inside the chat, and then we'll check the audience one more time, see if we have anything else, and we'll be out of here for tonight. So low temperatures tonight in San Antonio is 69, high temperatures tomorrow 87, low temperatures for tomorrow night at 62. No precipitation is expected at all for pretty much for tomorrow and for tonight as well, but fog is possible. In terms of Raleigh, low temperatures tonight 63, there is a slight chance of showers tonight, and then tomorrow high temperatures at 80, low temperatures tomorrow night at 52. During the day, there is a chance of showers going through the day, but then as you get to the nighttime, it kind of increases, and it gets to pretty much close to that 80 to 100% range, where it's pretty much definite, to where you definitely will see rain tomorrow night, though. And other than that, let's talk about severe weather. Talk about severe weather for both locations as well, starting off with the excessive rainfall, which honestly, I probably should have talked about South Carolina as well, because South Carolina does have a minor risk of flooding up there inside the upstate of South Carolina for tonight. Tomorrow, same thing. Upstate of South Carolina has a minor risk of flooding going into tomorrow as well. But in terms of for San Antonio, nothing for the next 5 days. But moving over here towards Raleigh, no excessive rainfall expected for the next 5 days. It's really just the severe weather that you're really watching for. And that is for, obviously, that enhanced risk of severe weather. Go here to day 2. Tomorrow, you do have a 10% risk for tornadoes in Raleigh, a 30% chance of damaging winds in Raleigh, also a 5% chance of damaging hail. So you're in pretty much the same boat that South Carolina is in. 10% risk for tornadoes, 30% risk of wind, and a 5% chance of hail. And now let's go on and talk about what's going on throughout the entire U.S. Because we do have a lot going on. Severe thunderstorms containing large hail, damaging winds, tornadoes, and frequent lightning with heavy rainfall will spread from Mississippi, Ohio, and the Tennessee valleys today. Then to the East Coast on Monday. Meanwhile, a significant ice storm continues across parts of the upper Midwest and Great Lakes and upstate New York and northern New England for the Southwest critical fire conditions. So a lot going on. Fog possible down there in the near the coastal regions of Florida and the Panhandle. High winds possible up there pretty much for the entire state of Nevada. Where probably we might have some high winds down there towards Las Vegas with gusts of up to around 65 miles per hour is possible down there. Inside of California as well, high winds possible down there, going on down towards like just to the east of San Diego, El Cajon, and like Oceanside and places like that inside of California. And other than that, that's pretty much it from what I can see. Don't really see anything else that's really that important. I will also say one more thing, though, before we get out of here for the night. If you know anybody inside of the region, inside of this region right here, let me go in and get it pulled up real quick. On Wednesday, April the 2nd, they're potentially talking about another severe weather outbreak, if not maybe some regional tornado outbreaks here and there. Some dangerous weather from it. So if you know anybody from Chicago down through Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and also inside of northeastern Texas, northern Louisiana towards Shreveport, the entire state of Arkansas as well, let them know that severe weather will probably happen again on April the 2nd. Let me check the chat one more time. I don't see anything else. So I'm going to check out the poll. I said, are you ready for the potential severe weather tomorrow? 44% says yes, and 56% says no. We've been talking about the severe weather for a long, probably since, since it was a day 5 outlook. I don't even know. I don't know if it was day 6 or something like that. So we've been talking about it for a good little while now. If you're not prepared for it, make sure that you get prepared for it tonight, because in terms of timing, it'll probably be in the upstate early afternoon, Midlands through kind of like the latish afternoon, and then the early evening, and kind of going into the later evening, it'll be inside the low country in the PD region, and it'll be near the coastal regions, probably around like 9 to 10 p.m. ish or so. So make sure that you are prepared for that. And I don't really think there's anything else to say. So I am going to head out. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure that you go and do so. Also, make sure that you go on and hit the share button as well. We're at 429 subscribers, trying to get to 500. Make sure that you're here tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing the April forecast for the month of April. April the 1st all the way through April the 30th. Also, fan of the month for March is tomorrow. Make sure that you're there as well, because you could potentially win it, and it would be bad if you got chosen and you weren't there. So make sure that you show up tomorrow. And that's it. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Monday morning forecast update. And everyone have a fantastic rest of their Sunday.